Thank you, Mr. President. I rise in support of Senate Bill 738, legislation that we unfortunately need here in Pennsylvania. House Bill 963, which was a proposed constitutional amendment, would have created a 2-year window for victims of childhood sexual abuse to file litigation against their abusers. The General Assembly passed the bill last session, setting up for what should have been a second session on the issue in order to get a constitutional amendment proposal to the voters for their input. Unfortunately, the Department of State and the Governor's Office admitted it failed to properly advertise this constitutional amendment. We have seen the fallout of this grossly negligent error, which led to the resignation of the former Secretary of State. More importantly, it restarted the process of a constitutional amendment that many victims across the state are counting on. As I said, this bill should not be necessary, but as it was detailed in a 68-page report by the Inspector General, it clearly is. The Inspector General pointed out major internal flaws for the Department of State to carry out its constitutional and legal duty. When I met with the acting Secretary of State to ask what reforms have been made since this complete failure by the administration, she said that they have new paperwork and processes in place. I'm sorry, but what we need is transparency, and that's exactly what this bill will do for every constitutional amendment proposal moving forward. The bill is simple. It would require the Department of State to create a publicly accessible website to track every step of our constitutional amendment process, including a copy of the notice and constitutionally required deadline, a listing of every newspaper in which the constitutional amendment notice was published and the date of said publication, as well as the earliest possible election day it may be considered by the Pennsylvania voters. We can track anything from online purchases of clothing to food orders that we place online. For something as consequential as a constitutional amendment, this bill will ensure this administration or any future administration will not fail victims or any other Pennsylvanian with a vested interest in a proposed constitutional amendment. Internal changes are good until they're not. Human error led to this failure, and every Pennsylvanian should hold this Department of State accountable moving forward through this transparent process. Under this bill, they will have that opportunity. Mr. President, I respectfully urge an affirmative vote for Senate Bill 738. Thank you, Mr. President.
The clerk